And so I'm offering this simple wish to Rapper Packers old and new. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas, you fuck you.
Brand new I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast is coming up next with New York Knicks starting point guard Jarrett Jack. Jarrett Jack is with me on the brand new I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. But first, we're going to be talking fantasy football Super Bowls. My Super Bowl went down. It was a doozy. The chips falled where the chips falled. I know that doesn't make sense, but it took a lot out of me. We have a new Stickman anointed to the Stickman Hall of Fame. And Donald Trump thinks he invented fucking Christmas. All that and more on a brand new I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast coming up next. It's the holidays, and everybody needs holiday cash. You need it, and I know where to get it. MyBookie is the place to score serious cash on your sports predictions, believe it or not. Okay? The holidays are here. It's happened. Okay? We're in the holiday season, and while that means there's plenty of parties, gifts, and spending, it also means that there's so many football, basketball, and hockey games on that you could score big on every single day during the holiday season. Man up and play like the pros on game day. You can play the money line, the side, or the total. MyBookie is your hookup for all your betting needs and offers super fast payouts when you win. MyBookie.ag, okay? Where you bet is just as important as who you're betting on. And if you want to make money betting the games, you gotta go to MyBookie.ag. They are the only site that I recommend. I trust them, okay? But you don't have to take my word for it. Check them out yourself, okay? Go to mybookie.ag. Take a look now. They have odds on every matchup and a mobile site that makes wagering on your smartphone a breeze. If I could do it, you could do it, okay? Join now, and MyBookie will match your deposit with up to a 50% bonus. A 50% bonus. Use the promo code Rapaport, RAPAPORT, to activate the offer. Visit mybookie.ag today. Use the promo code Rapaport. You play, you win, you get paid at mybookie.ag. All right, so G Moody, last name rhymes with duty, couldn't make the show. He'll be back on the next episode. On the next episode, we're going to be celebrating the year in sports, recapping all the craziness that happened in the year in sports. Obviously, we're not going to be stating the obvious. The year in sports, I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast celebration will be showcasing the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. And then, of course, on that same year-end episode of the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast, we will be giving out the much coveted, much talked about 2017 Sick Fuck of the Year award. It came down to the wire. It's been tough. We've been running the numbers. We've been talking to people. We've been reviewing. But the 2017 Sick Fuck of the Year award will be given out on the next and final 2017 episode of the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. So what can I say? Christmas is here. It's come. It's went. It's came. It's went. I don't know. My voice is just getting back to functioning. Okay. As you guys could hear on the last episode of the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast, the tank was empty. The tank was empty. I'm dealing with it the best I can. I want to finish the year with a nice baritone bass, throaty, strong, Gringo Mandingo voice. I was going to sing to you some Christmas carols, but I said, you know what? Why don't we go back into the crates? Okay? Why don't we go back into the crates and play a little classic when me and the great Danny Aiello, and if you're a new listener of the Iron Rapaport Stereo podcast, you should know that Danny Aiello is a great inspiration of mine. But when me and the great Danny Aiello 2 years ago, just a year ago, sang Christmas carols live for the people of New York that came out to the show in New York. So here's me and Danny Aiello riffing off the cuff some beautiful Christmas carols. And this is going to be the last you hear about anything that has anything to do with fucking Christmas from me. Okay? Check this out. Me and Danny Aiello singing Christmas carols for you. We're going to do Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. This is not rehearsed. This is it right here. I think this is going to be a national craze. This is the first ever Aiello off with the actual Danny Aiello right now. We'll do it like a rap battle. Like, Danny will do a verse, and then I'll do a verse. You want to go first, Danny?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny nose. And
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a fucking shiny nose.
And if you ever saw him, you would even think it glowed.
If you ever saw this cocksucker with this big red nose, you might even say, holy shit, that fucking thing glows.
All of the other reindeers used to laugh and call him names.
All of the other reindeers, they used to come out and break his fucking balls.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you'll go down in history.
Then one shiny
Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph.
Santa came down, he was smoking a fucking cigar. He wobbled his fat ass down the street, and he said,
Rudolph, with your nose so bright,
Rudolph,
won't
you
guide...
dumb fuck!
Won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
Won't you guide my sleigh tonight? But if you get lost, you dumb fucking red-nosed cocksucker, I'm gonna drop you the fuck off in the South Bronx. You hear me, you red-nosed prick?
Oh! Yes. Then all the reindeers loved him. They all shouted out with glee. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you'll go down in history.
There you have it. Me and the great Danny Aiello live from last year's show in New York City. It was actually a SantaCon Day, which is a whole fucking... We should do an I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast next year from SantaCon Day. These poor bastards were out there. Me and Aiello need to go out there for SantaCon next year and egg these fucking lunatics. So I want to say this before we start today, because we have a great episode. We got Jarrett Jack, New York Knicks point guard, who has had a great career and is so low-key for his entire career. The guy was out of the NBA. He had a torn this and a torn that. He was out of the NBA for the entire 2016 season. Never hear a peep from this guy. Comes to the Gloom Tomb in New York, and it's like a whole different personality. Great interview, great insight on what it's like to be a Knick today. I ask him the most important question of the day, which is, who has the best hairline in the NBA? Is it Paul George of the Oklahoma City Thunder? Or is it your big man, Enes Kanter? I put the fucking flames to the fire, and I asked him the question, and he answered me as honestly as he possibly could. And it's just a great all NBA, very New York Knicks-centric, very basketball-centric interview with the great Jarrett Jack, the starting point guard of the New York Knicks. But what I wanted to say is this. You know, a lot of people make comments. They say, "Oh, I don't listen to sports. This podcast is in the iTunes sports and recreation section." And then some people say, "I don't listen to sports." And I'm like, "It's not a sports podcast." And then some people say, "Yo, Rapaport, yo, stop talking politics, man. I don't care about the politics. And then, and I was thinking like this. I want to try to please every single person that supports and loves the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. I want the podcast to be as great as it possibly can for each one of you. Unfortunately, the thousands and thousands and thousands, literally almost millions of people that listens to each I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast, I can't make a customized I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast for all of you. Sincerely. I wish I could. I wish I had the lung capacity and throat stamina to make a custom I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast for each and every one of you, but I can't. Okay? So if you don't like a section of an episode, if you're not into the sports, there's a button on your phone, whether you have an Android or an iPhone, that skips ahead 15 or 30 seconds. Skip ahead. You don't like this, what I'm saying? Skip ahead. Okay? You like it? Rewind it. It's fucking golden. I know it. I could sit here and say that sometimes I know we are making podcasts gold. The Dan Le Batard diss track on the now infamous White Mike meets White Mamba Scalabrini episode number 360. It's a fucking classic. I knew while we were doing it gold. Gold standard. Drag that fucking animal. But I was texting a few people in the DMs, a few people on Twitter, Instagram. I don't like politics. Don't talk about politics. These are fans. They're saying, yo, I'm a fan. I just don't want to hear about the politics. And I say this. Listen, I respect that. I made a pledge when I was doing the first ever I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. Listen to episode 1. I made a pledge to the fans. I was doing the episode in a pair of black cashmere sweatpants alone by my fucking self like a fucking lunatic. Okay? I made a pledge to keep it rough, rugged, and raw without a bag every single episode. Everything won't be for everyone, but I can promise you this, every episode will have something for everyone. I can't streamline my fucking thoughts and interests and concerns and fears. I can't. If I could do that, it wouldn't be rough, rugged, and raw. It would not be rough, rugged, and raw. Okay? I try to make it rough, rugged, and raw without a bag every single time I pick up the podcast mic. So if you're not digging the section, you're not digging the interview, you don't want to hear about this, you don't want to hear about that, just scroll forward, but stay with me because not every section, not every bit will be for everyone. But like I said, every episode will have something, some fire, some heat, some flames for everyone. Okay? I can't please every single person all the time. And I'm going to tell you something. As far as the politics go, I know that it would probably be in the best business interest of myself personally as an actor, as a iconic figure and pioneer in podcasting, to not discuss politics. A lot of these motherfuckers, they have the same feelings, thoughts, and ideas that I have about what's going on in the White House, but the balls, they're fucking balls, they're onions. They're not big enough to articulate them. Okay? They're like, we're going to keep it straight down the middle. We're not going to hedge on either side. Listen, my feelings, my thoughts, they're not always correct. They're not right. We don't have to agree on everything. What we do have to agree on is that the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast, this fucking podcast, is the worldwide phenomenon. Okay? But just know a lot of these people that don't speak on politics, they do speak on politics behind closed doors. Some of them like Trump, some of them don't like Trump. I've had people say, just don't say it, it's better for the brand. The fucking brand is about keeping it funky. The brand is about keeping it funky. The brand is about not fact-checking. The I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast brand is about not fact-checking, speaking from the gut, and letting the chips fall where they may. Okay? Now, it's a fact. It's a fucking fact. Okay? Yesterday, it was the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a fucking mouse. And for some reason, Donald Trump Don't even beep out the cough, Miles. Keep that cough in there. Keep it in there. Okay? Keep the snorts, the sniffs, and the ass scratches in this episode of the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. I want to keep it as raw and as funky as I possibly can. It's a fact. While the real Santa Claus was packing his shit up, spreading Christmas cheer around the world, dog-faced Donald Trump tweeted, and I quote, "People are proud to be saying Merry Christmas again. I am proud to have led the charge against the assault of our cherished and beautiful phrase, Merry Christmas." You dumb fuck. You're not fucking Kris Kringle. You're not fucking Santa Claus. You didn't lead the charge on people saying Merry Christmas. The reason why motherfuckers haven't been saying Merry Christmas for the last 11 months is because motherfuckers don't say Merry Christmas in the middle of June, motherfucker. It's summertime. It's a seasonal thing. It has nothing to do with you, you sick fuck. That's that dog call, bird whistle shit. He's like putting it out there like, oh, the last president, he put down all these things. Miles, play the goddamn clip of the numerous times the last president, Obama, said Merry Christmas.
Have a very Merry Christmas.
We want to say Merry Christmas to everybody.
A very, very Merry Christmas and a holiday filled with joy. I want to wish every American a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
See? Fucking guy Donald Trump, you think you invented fucking Christmas? Nobody's saying Merry Christmas during Thanksgiving. They say Happy Thanksgiving, you fuck. During Easter, they say Happy Easter, you fuck. 4th of July. I don't know what they say then, but they're saying like, Jason Pierre-Paul, don't blow your fucking hands up. The point is you didn't make it hip to say Merry Christmas. You fuck you. Your wife is miserable. She always looks miserable. Every time you see his wife, she looks fucking miserable. People get offended by this. I don't know why people get offended by me saying that his wife looks miserable. Does she or does she not look fucking miserable? She looks fucking miserable. Okay, and you didn't invent Christmas. You've led the charge. What happened to the calm before the storm, motherfucker? What about that shit? That's it. Not talking about this animal anymore. Not gonna say anything about his fucking hairpiece. Guy's got a fucking hairpiece on. It's crooked every day. Yet he has given Hillary Clinton the nickname Crooked Hillary. What about crooked fucking hairpiece? Crooked hairpiece Don. I'm moving on. Stickman. I am anointing Darryl Strawberry into the Stickman Hall of Fame with one fell swoop. Spectacular. Darryl Strawberry, former baseball player. This guy's had ups and downs his entire life with drugs. On the field, off the field. Crazy career. Surprised he's still living. He'll be the first to say it. He's come out and said that his sex addiction. Now, listen, you could call it a sex addiction if you want. I think he's sober. He's found God and all this stuff. God bless you. Just happy he's living. But Darryl Strawberry said that while he was playing Major League Baseball for the New York Mets, in between innings when he was playing baseball games, Shea Stadium, okay? He played at Shea, okay? Not this new stadium. He played at Shea. In between innings, I would go in the locker room, run back, have a little party, skeet, and run back on the field. Okay? That's stick man shit. I never heard anything like that. Let me tell you something. If you're freaking off in between innings of a baseball game and are able to go back out there on the field and get it popping, you are in the Stickman Hall of Fame automatically. Auto-fucking-matically. Congratulations, Darryl Strawberry. Congratulations on your sobriety. And congratulations on your quick come up into the Stickman Hall of Fame. I never heard no shit like that in my life. So there was a big sports day. Christmas Day is a big sports day. The Knicks lost a close game at the Garden to the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons and company. Strong team, good team. I like that team. My guy Robert Covington is coming on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast in the new year. My favorite part of the game was when our guy, Jarrett Jack, who's on this here I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast episode, knocked Joel Embiid on his ass for no particular reason at all. And that's what I like. He did it on Christmas. Welcome to the Garden, fucko. Huh? Troll Embiid, that's what he calls himself. Troll Embiid. He likes to talk shit on Twitter, talk shit on the gram. Welcome to Madison Square Garden, fuck knows. And I like Joel Embiid a lot. Love him. Love him. But I like our guys even more, and I like that Jarrett Jack knocked him on his ass for no particular reason at all. Other game, highlight of the game, the Warriors played the Cavaliers in Golden State. Thank God that the Golden State Warriors didn't have to go to Cleveland on Christmas to play in Cleveland. What a miserable fucking existence. Can you imagine being part of the Golden State Warriors and in the middle of December having to fly to Cleveland to play on Christmas Day? I mean, it's a blessing either way, but that's got to suck. It's not like you're going to go anywhere for a good sushi meal after the game. We tried to eat sushi in Cleveland. We went to the best joint they had. I did the sniff test. I walked the fuck out. Okay? You can tell if a sushi place is good by the sniff test. Just like you could tell if a piece of punani is good just by the sniff test. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean to be offensive. Okay? And I know there's no crowds around me, but if you are with a woman and you could smell her from a distance, okay? Run, don't walk. Run, don't walk. And vice versa, ladies. Vice versa. Okay, but I am a guy. I am smelling it from a man's perspective, and I have smelled a few pieces of funny snapper. Let's just call it that. Let's move on. But the Golden State Warriors, without Steph Curry, beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in Golden State. Fortunately, that game was played in the Bay Area. LeBron James had said the day before that, he doesn't lose sleep over losses anymore. He said, this is kind of impressive. He said, I lost 5 championships. Nothing phases me. I don't lose sleep. And I call it conceding, submitting. You lost, fuck. And you're going to continue to lose. And you lost on Christmas Day. So don't complain that you didn't get the calls at the end of the game. A lot of people say he didn't get the calls. You know why? Because you're not that dude anymore. They only give the calls to the dude. You were the dude for a long time. Now you're not the dude. Now KD and the Warriors, they're the fucking dudes. The fans, the people want to see them win. So if it's a half and half call, a 50-50 call, you're not getting it, fucko. But you just said, I don't lose sleep over it. Miles, play the clip.
Is that game 3 going to stick with you for a long time?
No.
No?
I mean, listen, I've lost 5 finals. What are you going to do about it?
Right.
No. What's going to stick with me is seeing my daughter smile, seeing my kids graduate high school and college, hopefully my daughter go off and meet the man of her dreams, and that's what's going to stick with me. I keep telling y'all, these games and wins and losses, yes, so I love it, but it's not the A-all and N-all for me. So I've had so many moments of this game that I'm going to cherish, but game 3 here in the finals or game, I'm good. I don't lose sleep anymore. Thank you. Thanks, LeBron.
See? You don't lose sleep, so don't complain about the fucking calls and tell your fans in Cleveland, those miserable fucks, okay, not to lose sleep over it at all and leave me alone. I can't breathe without getting harassed by people in Cleveland. It's the fucking holidays. Leave me be. And you heard in that clip, he states the obvious. I just want to see my kids do this and kids do that. Duke, Duke. We all want to see that. We all want to see that. Just say that you're tired of fucking losing, okay? You don't get your hopes up anymore, and you're preparing to lose again. We don't need to hear about what kind of a parent we all want to see our kids do great, graduate college, our daughters get married, and all that shit you're talking, Duke. But you know what? We're not all LeBron James. We're not all playing for the NBA titles, and we don't all want to be like Mike, like you Foxy. You're not like Mike. You thought you were going to be like Mike. You're not like Mike. I want to give a shout out to all the people, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, although I am suspended again on Facebook. I don't know fucking why. I don't know why. Facebook, I might not come back. You got too many fucking rules and regulations. Too many rules and regulations. I've been suspended 3 times this year. 1 time for calling a guy a cracker. Talked about that earlier in the year. And they don't even run the paperwork. It's not like you could go to the judge and jury and be like, like if you get a speeding ticket and maybe contest it. They just suspend you. Sight unseen. Even me, the Gringo Mandingo, shut me the fuck down. But all the people that got a copy of This Book Has Balls as a gift on the holiday season, enjoy it. Let me know what you think of it. If you want me to sign it, you got to email me at IamRapaportPodcast@gmail.com. Okay? Send your own envelope. Send your own fucking envelope. I had one guy, I said, I would love to sign your book. Just send me an envelope. Send me a self-addressed envelope. They sent me a goddamn envelope to put a love letter in, not a book. I'm like, what the fuck, man? What do you think? I'm going to send you some cash? Send me an envelope to put the book in. Send me an envelope to put the book in. I will sign it, customize, I'll do whatever you want. Okay? I'll give you a piece of my hair. I'll spray it with my perfume, whatever you want. But you got to send your own envelope. Otherwise, I'm sending it the fuck back. Unsigned. Okay? It's the gift that keeps on giving. If you want to get a copy of the soon-to-be New York Times bestseller, get the book. This Book Has Balls. Sports rants from the MVP of talking trash. You can get it on Amazon. Simply go to thisbookhasballs.com. Okay? I want to know what you guys think that got the book. I must have got like 30, 35 messages from people sending me pictures of their book. I was proud. I was excited. One of the things that was took away the Christmas spirit out of the Christmas game between the Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors was Jose Calderon. Remember this fucking guy? I don't even know where he started in the NBA. I think he's like 56. I believe he came into the NBA as a rookie when he was 31. The fact that Jose Calderon was the starting point guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers, in my humble opinion, downgraded that entire game to a preseason-like environment. Okay, it's one thing if Steph isn't there. Okay, he's injured. We knew that. But then the beginning of the game, I got to see Jose Calderon on national TV? How the fuck is this guy still in the NBA? How is he still in the NBA and guys like Steven Jackson, Kenyon Martin, all kinds of dudes should be in the NBA? If Jose Calderon could start at point guard on Christmas Day, Jose fucking Calderon looks like shit. Looks like he has terrible breath. I'm not saying he does. I'm not saying he doesn't, but that's just the way he looks. He looks like he smells funny. Twitter was in an uproar. This is the skinny genification of the NBA. Twitter was in an uproar. I mean, you had legitimate basketball guys, writers, writing, complaining over the historical importance over customized Christmas jerseys and how Nike should be ashamed of themselves for not giving the players customized Christmas jerseys. Who gives a flying fuck? Are you wearing the jerseys? Are you in the 3rd grade? You're a grown fucking man worrying about Christmas jerseys? Skinny genification. And a skinny genification of Twitter. So Rosie O'Donnell, the actress, comedian, my co-star in the classic Christmas film. A lot of people call it a Christmas classic. Wintertime Classic. Beautiful girls. You know, she talks a lot of shit on Instagram, on Twitter, lots. And she told this guy, Ben Shapiro, who's one of these right-wing little fuckboys, who also happens to be Jewish. He rocks a yarmulke and all that. Full Jew. Still a fuckboy. But him and Rosie O'Donnell got into it on Twitter. I don't even know what they were going at it about. But eventually Rosie O'Donnell said, suck my dick. And then Ben Shapiro came back with a tweet saying something, me too. See. Now, you're not DMX, Duke. Okay? What happened to DMX, Bizarro DMX? That deserves a me too. You just bitching and whining and complaining. This fucking guy then went on to tattletale on Twitter. How is tattletaling on Twitter dope? How is tattletaling on Twitter sweet? It's not sweet. It's not dope. It's not okay. He's saying, Twitter should suspend Rosie O'Donnell. You bitch ass. You mark ass trick. He went to complain about Rosie O'Donnell to Twitter to get her suspended. This is the world we're living in now. And you're putting hashtags me too? The fuck is wrong with you, Ben Shapiro? All right. I told you I was going to get to the results of the Stern Show Fantasy Football Super Bowl. Oh, it was unbelievable. Take a quick break, okay? I'm going to give you the results of a blood-curdling Stern Show Fantasy Football Showdown with me, the Gringo Mandingo, and my team, Rapaport Select, a.k.a. That Thing's Big, a.k.a. A History of Violence, a.k.a. Make It Stop, for Stern Show Creeps, Sal Governale, and Richard Christie. When we get right back, I am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Stay with me. So, yeah, my fantasy football Super Bowl was a fucking heartbreaker. Guys, girls, children of all ages. I fucking lost, man. I fucking lost 132.9 to 125.1. 132.9 to 125.1. It came down to the wire. Listen, I came up with the motto, the term, the philosophy that there are no feelings in fantasy. And that is 150% true until you lose in a Super Bowl. I lost to these fucks, these creeps, degenerate fucks in the Stern Show, Richard Christie and Salvatore Governale. Sal Governale. As I said, Sal Governale, I don't even think he knows that football season is going on. Richard Christie runs around the Stern Show office nude. Just, and he's got a wife and a kid. He's sick. He's a sick fuck. True sick fuck. Okay, not sick enough to make the Sick Fuck of the Year award, but he's lurking and looming around. That's how sick he is. I blame Ben Roethlisberger. He fucked me with that last second bullshit touchdown, and I blame you, Michael Crabtree, you mother. And I fucking was there for you, man. I didn't even have any vested interest in you when you played for the 49ers and Richard Sherman was talking greasy. I had your back, man. When Aqib Talib was snatching your fucking chain earlier in the season, I'm on record. I had your back. And you come up with 0 fucking points for me in the Super Bowl? Not a fucking point? I lost. Yeah, I'm finger pointing. Okay? When they go low, I go lower. I'm finger pointing. Derek Carr, you didn't even look at Michael Crabtree. Fucking guys running the football like it's the 90s and you got Walter Payton. Beast mode's good, but he ain't fucking Walter Payton. So close yet so far. So close yet so far. I lost the goddamn Stern Show Super Bowl. You know who remembers second place? Nobody. Nobody even remembers second place in a real Super Bowl, let alone a fucking fantasy football league Super Bowl. And this is what I'm stuck with. I'm stuck with second place in the Stern Show Fantasy Football League. I lost to two guys. The last time I saw them, I was on the Howard Stern Show. They were naked. Painting with their dicks. Their little watercolor dicks. Okay? Little baby strokes, little baby dicks. They were on the Howard Stern Show painting with their little baby dicks. Little kindergarten water strokes. Watercolors. If I'm going to paint with my dick, I paint a fucking roof. I lay tar down. These two freaks. That's what they were doing. I lost. I fucking lost. Rapaport's a light, a.k.a. that thing's big, a.k.a. make a stop, a.k.a. the history of violence officially came in second place in the Stern Show Fantasy Football League. I've been through a lot. I was kicked out of the league. I was invited back into the league. I fought, I clawed, I scrapped. I did every single thing I could do, and I came up short. See, I am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Stay with me. We're going to listen to some funk. We're going to regroup, okay? And we got New York Knicks starting point guard Jarrett Jack with me on the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Miles, give me something funky to make me feel better about myself. Stay with me. All right, give me test.
1, 2, 1, 2.
There it goes. That's the sweet sounds of the motherfucking point guard. He's running point today. Usually I run point. I'm passing the rock. New York Knicks starting point guard Jarrett Jack is in the Gloom Tomb for the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast.
The Gloom Tomb, that's what
The
we
Gloom
at?
Tomb.
All right.
The Gloom Tomb was inspired by a former residence that was gloomy. This isn't as gloomy, but we got to keep the gloomy spirit.
All right.
So my first question is for you, Jack. You were out of the NBA
Yeah.
because of the injury.
Yeah.
What was the injury? What was it like to sort of be like, you know, because when you get to like 10, 11, 12 years in the league, I learned this from being the Howard Cosell of the Big Three. When you're out of the league, it's hard to sort of come back into it.
Yeah.
So walk me through the injury, the rehab process, and how you wound up coming back to start the New York Knicks.
Well, it was tough. You know, I'm at the time starting for the Brooklyn Nets, having a pretty good season. I think I was like top 5 in the league in assists. And I ended up tearing my ACL. You know, it was a tough injury to deal with mentally, and then also to come back from. Like the rehab process from it is like crazy. And then also, even after you put in all that work, getting teams to believe that a guy that's 34 still hasn't lost the love, the passion, or the ability to withstand what comes with an 82-game season. And luckily, man, Scott Perry and Steve Mills, they gave me a chance, and I was trying to make the most of my opportunity.
So when you tear your ACL, like that's an injury we hear a lot as fans in football and in the NBA. Do you remember the moment? Did you know something bad had happened? Like, walk me through like when you injured yourself on the court.
I actually was about to score. We had just stole the ball. I think I passed it to Wayne Ellington. He passed it back to me. I was about to lay it in the basket, and right before I put my leg down to jump, I felt the worst pain I ever had, and you know, went down. They took me in the back. You know, they diagnosed me, and I found that I had tore my ACL.
Does it hurt in that area? And like yours was a no one bumped into you. It was just
non-contact situation. Yeah, it hurts, man. Just your knee. You don't know what's going on. The adrenaline is pumping. Your mind is wondering like what just happened.
Did you know something bad had happened, like right there?
Yeah, because for me, I had never really dealt with injuries before. Knock on wood. Hopefully, I don't anymore. But you know, I had never felt that before, and it was something that normally, if I fall or whatever, I try to get up, and I knew right then and there something wasn't right.
Damn. And so then what happened from being injured with the Nets to not being in the league? Like, how much rehab goes into coming back from an ACL injury?
Man, it's rehab every day, you know.
And what is it? Like, like I know it changes as you get better, but like what was the hardest, most work of the rehab to come back from that injury?
I mean, the hard part is really, you know, you're used to your senses or your mind. When you're saying walk, your foot does it. And when you're trying to move your foot and your leg doesn't want to move, and you kind of have to train your senses, retrain your body for things that you've been doing since a toddler, trying to do them now as a grown-up. And
so
it's like,
we're not even talking basketball stuff.
Nah. We just talking about just regular walking up steps. You know what I'm saying? Like, not leaning to because, you know, my left leg is the one that wasn't injured. So not leaning, trying to overcompensate, you know, on my left leg, because then you can start to have pain in your back, or, you know, you could throw your hips off and things of that nature. So really, like, the fundamentals of walking, as weird as that sounds.
That's the first part.
Yeah.
And when you're going through that, and you know you're 33 at the time, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, I played, I've done my thing. You know, are you thinking, I just want to walk again? Or, like, when do you start thinking, I'm going to play in the NBA again? Or was that never like, I'm done playing basketball?
No, I was never I was done playing basketball. You know, I just treated the rehab like those were my games. Like, that now was my season. You know what I mean? Every day in rehab, that was like me playing against the Timberwolves. And the next day, it was this. So that was the way I kept my mind kind of focused on it and didn't allow basketball to kind of be missing from my regimen. Like, I just kept it that way. Like, I'm eating my meals. I'm still eating right. I'm still doing this. It didn't allow me to take any time off. I think that's why I was able to maintain pretty good shape, not put on weight at all, and, you know, be able to come back and kind of just pick up where I left off.
And then how did you wind up getting signed with Knicks? Because you said Steve Mills and Perry gave you a shot. Like, did you have to try out? Did they see, is it not, or they want to watch you work out? And do they want to watch you work out like a couple of times?
It was crazy because I was chilling, and then my agent called me. He said, yo, the Sacramento Kings want to come see you. I was like, all right. They want you to come see them. So I'm like, all right. So I fly to Sacramento.
Now, when you fly to Sacramento, do they fly you?
Yeah.
How does that work?
They take care of you, fly you
first.
It's
a business trip.
I live in Atlanta, so it was a coast-to-coast type trip. So I'm in the air for 5 hours. As soon as I land, you know, you got a 3-hour time difference, but they like, yo, we got a car downstairs for you at 8 in the morning. They're going to come. They're going to put you through an individual, watch you work out. Pretty much, Scott had told me he liked what he saw. So in the next couple of days, I'm like, man, you know, he's like, man, I'm going to tell your agent, we're going to be in touch. Scott Perry.
Right, who was with the Kings at the time.
Yeah, but then, like, the next couple of days, you know, there was a lot of movement with the Knicks front office. Phil had resigned, whatever he called it, quit, fired, whatever you want to call it. And then...
Or kicked out.
Bingo, okay. We can go. He was no longer there.
He was no longer with the Knicks.
Let's say that. And I saw Scott took the Knicks job. So I'm like, damn, man.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know, you know, where that had left me as far as, you know, in regard of what his thoughts was. It's an entirely new job. You got a totally different personnel, totally different task at hand, you know, taking on a whole new position. So, and it was weird. I remember I told my agent, I was like, I just randomly hit him because after he took the job with the Knicks, I thought the whole Kings thing or me dealing with anybody was, you know, it was done for.
You were like, I got to start. I got to start again.
I'm thinking I'm waiting for a whole new phone call now, a whole new situation to present itself. And then,
it's literally like that. Like, you're waiting for a phone call for a team to be interested. You're not called, like, you personally or your agent, they don't like, yo, I'm feeling pretty good. Come check me out.
No, my agent can call around and let teams know, you know, Jarrett's feeling good. You know, if you guys want to, he can come in and work and show you guys that, you know, he's able or he's ready to let everybody know that he's fine. I did that for the Kings as well as the Clippers. And a couple other teams, but I randomly text my agent. I was like, yo, my knee feels good. He was like, all right, cool. Make sure it's right for the 17th and 18th. And I was like, what that got to do with anything? He was like, that's when the Knicks camp is. I was like, oh, I'm going. He said, yeah. Scott Perry's still very much interested in you. He wants you to come to camp and see what you can do and going to give you an opportunity to make the team.
And this is 17th, 18th of September.
Yep.
Okay, so then you go to camp, and obviously, the Knicks have been. Listen, Jack, I've been on the front line. I grew up right here.
All right.
Okay, I've been very open about my frustration with the Knicks. So you get to the camp, you're not a fan. You're in it.
For sure.
So you get to the camp, and do you work out? Are you do you feel like, I'm essentially like back in high school, like I'm trying out for this team, like I gotta bust people's ass? Or are you like, I just want to be a part of the system? Like, what's your mentality going into that? Knowing you've come off the injury, knowing your age and the injury, and knowing you're literally out of basketball for a year. Like, where's your headspace?
Man, I'm coming in just trying to be the same old me, trying to be a positive influence. Regardless if that's leadership, if that's playmaking, whatever it is, man. Just trying to create an aura around the team. I think a lot of teams, they don't have an identity within themselves, first and foremost, like in the locker room. Like, do y'all really got a vibe? Do you really mess with each other? Like, I tell people, right, the thing I say that's so different about college in the league and why people, they think college is so much more pure than the NBA, right? I say because in college, you got teammates. In the league, you got coworkers. Like, it's different in the sense of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you break it down, like, when you got a teammate, if he get into something on the court, you getting into it. No questions asked. You moving, period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He fall on the ground, you running over there to help him up. Don't nobody got to tell you that. And if you don't go help him up, them other guys in the same uniform gonna let you know that that's not how we do things. Like, you almost have a creed or oath that you take when you're teammates. In the league sometimes, it's like, man, I see y'all at practice. I see you at the game. And that's the only relationship you have. Like, in college, you play games together, you live together, you probably eat together. You literally do everything together. You know what I mean? And if you can, and I'm not saying in the league you got to be with each other 24/7 because there's a different dynamic as far as, guys got families and, this, that, and the third is just different. But in college, you can create your atmosphere because you can go recruit. You know what I mean? The kid or whoever the recruit is, they pick the place they go to based on, I fit in. I like these guys. They kind of mirror me as a person. We're not even talking about as players. Like,
right.
The coaches show that, that they're invested in me in my 4 years of what I'm trying to do. In the league, it's like, we got to draft them. I don't really know them. When you get drafted, you don't get to pick where you want to go. You go where you're told. And then when you get there, you like, man, who are these dudes? I don't really know them, but I'm going to try to figure them out on the fly. And with us, man, it's just kind of dope that all of the guys, man, in our locker room, they're passionate, one, about winning. Two, they're passionate about getting better individually. And then they're also passionate about collectively trying to put that individual talent together and, trying to see what we can create, man. So it's really luck, but, we fortunate in a sense. And I think that's the one thing that's allowing us to be successful.
Dude, this whole thing about playing in New York, being in the Garden, like, how different is the media, the fans, the spotlight of playing for the New York Knicks, especially after all that we've been through in the last few years? Is that a real thing? Yeah,
man. Just the aura walking in the building in the Garden always seemed to grab a hold of you. You know what I mean? I don't care if you're going there for a concert, wrestling match, basketball, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different. You can't deny that. And then being a member is, I don't know, man. Like, you just feel a sense of you got represented a certain way, like, and you got to play a certain way. And like, I was telling a lot of dudes, I'm like, look, man, if you ain't built to be around here and for people to give you their brutally honest opinion, you need to get the hell on from around here, dog. Like, because this ain't the spot. People are passionate about their city, and then they're passionate about the things they represented, which are, the teams and whatever the case may be. And if you don't want somebody to brutally honest tell you that they think you playing like trash and they might have some choice words for you, this ain't really the spot for you. And I like it, though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I like that people are passionate about it. They give a damn about the team. They give a damn about the sport. They might not know what they talking about, but at least they care.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been in places where people could care less. They barely even know the teams in the city.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you just got to welcome that. That comes with this, just like practice and games, man. It's just a part of it. And either you embrace it and you deal with it, or if you don't, man, it's gonna catch you and it's gonna make you run it high and you're gonna be fearful of it.
You have played against everybody.
Yeah.
You've went toe to toe with everybody, and people know when Jarrett Jack is good, he's coming at you.
Yeah.
So you've seen it all. What is your take on Porzingis thus far? Because, like I said, the thing that resonated with me right away is that, like, the way he speaks to the press, like, he gets New York.
Yeah.
Like, he understands, like, people are here, they want to see you, like, it's put up or shut up.
For sure.
What is your take on Porzingis?
Well, one, he's the most swagged out 7'3" dude I ever seen in my life. But besides that, man, he's real wise beyond his years. You know, you forget that he's 22 years old.
Is he 22?
22, 23, something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and when he does some of the things on the perimeter, you're like, yo, this dude is 7'3". You telling me this dude, what he's doing, he's the same height as Shaq? Like, that's kind of trippy.
The way he moves.
Yeah, but him and Shaq are the same height. Like, and you telling me dude is doing left to right crossovers. He's beating guys half his size off the dribble. It's just trippy to think about that. Like, you really Shaq's height for real? You like 3 inches from Sean Bradley doing this?
Right.
Like, this is like different. You 3 inches taller than Dirk?
That's crazy.
Like, that's like,
it's like the evolution of man.
it's different, man. But man, just, you know, we knew what it was. I mean, Melo left and they gave him the keys. They put the keys in front of him and wanted to see if he was ready to withstand, like I said, what comes with being the focal point of the New York Knicks. And I think he's handled it tremendous so far. And he has a knack and a want to get better. You know what I mean? He's not satisfied by any means. He wants to see what his ceiling can be. And I don't think he's scratched the surface of what it's going to be anytime soon.
And when you say, he's swag, he's like a cool dude. Like, he's comfortable.
Yeah, cool dude, very personable. He's not one of them guys like, you know, I'm one of the upper echelon guys in the league, so I act a certain way or I kind of alienate myself from the rest of the guys. Nah, he's amongst the group, man. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the part that I always can appreciate. Comes to work every day. You know what I mean? Doesn't take any nights off. And those dudes are the ones that usually, man, you be seeing having one of them press conferences in Springfield at the end of their career.
Right. I mean, one of my favorite moments for me, like I said, I've been very open about my frustration with the Knicks. But I was like, when the whole LeBron thing happened in the Garden, obviously, listen, the whole thing would have been great if the Knicks would have got the win. But the build up to that game, and then like Frank Ntilikina, who I want to ask you about, and because that's like your rookie.
Yeah.
That's your like
my young fella.
That's your young fella.
Yeah.
Like, let's stay on him first. Have you told him, yo, my man, yo, get me some of them donuts real quick? Like, do you treat like, yo, I need my donuts, yo, make sure we get my car washed? Like, how do you treat him as a rookie?
I ain't really that guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of the, all right, let's say if somebody else asked you and you didn't do it for whatever reason, I'm going to be the one to I want to do the discipline. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's not even about messing with a rookie or this, that. It's really about just appreciating people that came before you, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? Regardless if it's a dude who was a minimum guy on the team or if it was the dude in the number one slot. Like, that's what it's all about. Like, each and every person that's came through these doors have paved the way for all of us to keep this thing going, man, in some way, shape, or form. Like, you might not think this, but dude might have turned into a GM that helped forward this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's just all about the appreciation, and then just, you know, it's a way of checking your ego at the door.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really one to tell people to go get me stuff. That's whatever. But if I hear that somebody did ask you to get and you felt like you was above whatever they was at, as long as they not trying to degrade you as a man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They telling you to wear a dress, I ain't really with all that. You know what I'm saying?
But if it's fun, like if it's within the confines of respectful,
if
like, yo, young blood.
Yeah, they might want you to wear like
hot dogs on the corner. Like, yo, I want some hot dog.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make you do nothing that, you know,
get the hot dog, man.
Messes with you personally. But if he say, yo, we need donuts, I need a Wall Street Journal, I need this, and you just feel like, I ain't doing that. Like, nah, you gonna get in line for this one.
So what is he like? Because he's 19.
Just turned 19 though.
That's crazy to me. Like that. Okay, specifically with Frank. Well, what is it? Because his disposition, like we didn't know who he was, just like we didn't know who Porzingis was.
Right.
We had no idea no one knew who Porzingis was.
Right.
So, obviously Phil knew who he was, and that was, if nothing else, that was a stroke of brilliance. Because
you gotta give Phil some love on that one.
Absolutely. Phil's my guy, man. He drove me crazy, but he's my guy. And Ntilikina was like, again, like, yo, we got this one. We watched this one in the tournament. And then Ntilikina, and then I'm like, yo, this dude is not scared. He seems comfortable. He's 19 and he's out there. So what is your take on him in terms of his talent and where his head's at?
Man, he's another one, man. The number one thing about Frank, man, he's willing and he wants to listen. You know what I mean? If you do that, that helps you helps your learning curve in this league that much more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you come in like, I got it, I'm the number whatever pick, I don't need to listen and I don't want to listen, you're going to struggle. You know what I'm saying? Just you playing against and you doing stuff that you've never done before. You're going to take that's just natural. You know what I'm saying? And with him, it's just all in going out there playing with a clear mind, not caring about messing up,
right,
and understanding the whole thing, and this thing is next play.
Right.
Whether it was good, bad, or indifferent. That's the only one you could do something about.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think at times he gets out there and he's probably got so many things going through his head that I'm like, yo, remember the number one thing you out there to do is to be aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Period, point blank. I know they want you to run the team, this, that, and the third, but we got to find a happy medium as to where you're being aggressive, you running the squad, you know what I mean? And you getting things rolling. Like, don't let all that stuff clutter your mind. It's still just basketball at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And do what naturally instinctive comes to you, because that's what's going to make you look the most fluid and, more importantly, make the team look the most fluid.
And when you say aggressive, do you mean like when there's a shot, like get up on dude? Like, what do you mean specifically in regards to Frank?
Aggressive meaning, one is playing with a pace. You got to be playing with a certain type of pace. And two, you make the appropriate play that the defense determines.
Right.
If the defense sags back, you shoot it. I don't care if you miss 5 in a row. That's the play that's necessary right there.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you come off, 2 people crowd you, you got to make the proper read to find the wide open person. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the defense determines, like, that's the thing about dudes with offense. They think they can determine what's supposed to happen. No, if you got 2 people on you, fam, you got to pass it. It's no way around it. Like, all right, it might go in, but you're not going to make a steady diet of you shooting over 3, 4, and 5 people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And all right, and so Enes Kanter, Frank, I'm going to go to the LeBron thing, which was like, the Carmelo saga was like, it was crazy. Then they trade him with like McDermott and Enes Kanter. And I'm like, I've watched Enes Kanter, I like him. But I'm like, we just traded away Carmelo. It was just, the whole thing, the reaction was never going to be good. We get Enes Kanter. He's here. He's playing. He has fun. I've always liked his goon-like mentality. LeBron comes in here talking greasy. Frank approaches him, and then Enes Kanter walks over to him. And I'm like, yes, even though we lost the game, like the Knicks need that.
Yeah.
And you were in the building. The Garden must have went nuts.
Yeah.
Just to show that fight, because the Knicks fans, we can take losing, but we can't take losing without effort, and we can't take losing like the 90s Knicks, we didn't win a championship, but when those dudes walk in the building, Starks, the late great Mason, of course, Oakley when he's allowed back, all of them, they went down on their sword. And like, to me, it was like, that's the first time in a long time. Like, the Knicks have some New York shit in them.
But they had an identity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of what it is, you know what I'm saying? You knew when you played the Knicks what you was dealing with for 48 minutes.
Right.
Whether you like it, whether you call it dirty, whatever it is, man, they got an identity. And I think that's what we've established. You know what I mean? You might can say what you want, struggle on the road, this, that, and the third. When you play against us, I think it's now known that, man, it's going to be a dogfight. It ain't going to be no cakewalk. Nobody, we not playing basketball with tuxedos on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we not trying to play no pristine brand of basketball. We coming out there hard hat, blue collar type mentality, make you work for everything you get. And, we grinding you for 48 minutes, whether it's a win or a loss.
And so the reaction in the building that night with the LeBron thing, was it like, did you feel like the crowd...
I mean, you could sense that something was going to happen.
You could feel it because of the talking beforehand, right?
Yeah, and it's, with what Bron said coming into the game, I think Ennis shot back at him, And it was almost inevitable that something was going to go down. But I liked how young fella handled himself.
Right.
You know, and that's one thing I told. I said, man, in this league, if you come in there looking all, you know, bright-eyed in the face, people going to do stuff to you, man. And it's just like high school. If you let people keep doing stuff to you, it's never going to stop, bro. And we not saying go out there and fight or do nothing. But you got to stand up for yourself.
Something.
Or you got to make an example out of something or somebody, you know what I'm saying, that, hey, man, I ain't the one. I'm not going for no games, none of that. And young fella handled himself. Then the cavalry came there to let him know you got some reinforcement if you need some, young fella. And it stood there, you know, and did what a big man supposed to do and held down his young rookie. And that's also why when we tell you get the donuts, you know what I'm saying? Now, if you don't get them donuts, your rescue team might take a little bit longer to get down there. You know what I'm saying? But that's my Rook, who always, we tell him to get something, he got it. So, Rook, don't worry about anything happen on the court. Rook, we got you. Don't even worry about nothing. You know what I'm saying?
It really meant a lot to me. I know it meant a lot to the fans. And again, it sucked that we lost, but it was one of the more iconic moments in the new era of the Knicks.
Yeah.
Jack, you grew up in D.C., right?
Yeah. Born and raised.
And Mike Beasley?
Yeah. I met Mike. I think the first time I met him, he was like 13.
And how old were you?
I probably was like 8. I probably was on my way to college, probably.
And who else was in that area? Because there's a lot of DC has talent.
Yeah, I mean, we had a number of dudes. We had all growing up like kind of like within like our little age group. It was myself, Mike Beasley, Kevin Durant, Ty Lawson, Jeff Green, Dante Cunningham, Roger Mason,
Keith
Bogans, Victor Oladipo.
Damn.
Who else from around the way? Homeboy Magruder that played for Miami.
Yeah.
Athletic kid. Roy Hibbert.
Right.
He from around the way.
Damn.
I know I'm forgetting people right now. Like other dude. I mean, we had a nice little crop to come through, a nice hotbed we had going on. And that's not even counting like our counterparts that's 45 minutes away from Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? We just talking about the people that grew up like in like the southern part of Maryland and in DC. You know what I mean?
So when you guys were coming up, how good was Beasley? How good was KD when they were young? Like, did you know they they were like special?
Yeah, when KD his perimeter skills started catching up to his height, because he was always super skinny, but when his perimeter skills started catching up to his height, he'd been a problem for a long time.
And what like Beasley
and Mike was more so, he already had like because he was a post player at first. You know what I mean? He had real big feet. Like he was like 13 wearing a 15, like one of them type dudes. You know what I mean? So he was like a kid that was on the block, and then his game matured into him, you know, becoming a perimeter player as well. But he still, if you watch him, he still got that post work game that probably is just something that's natural for him because he grew up playing on the block.
Is the big man going to go away? Is it going to be extinct?
I don't think so.
Like you played with Zach Randolph. He's like one of the last of a dying breed.
Yeah.
Who could literally do all the post shit, back to the basket, jab step you, all that Tim Duncan shit, like just the fundamentals. Is it going to go away?
I'm not sure it's going to go away until you see a number of teams be successful in winning championships. Like as of right now, the only team usually that you've seen not playing a traditional way is Golden State. You know what I mean? You've seen San Antonio, Cleveland. I mean, they don't have the traditional big man in a sense, but I don't think they really play super small ball. Even like their smallest lineup, they still out there with 6'10", 6'11" dudes. I just think the more versatile big is more in.
You have to be versatile.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a versatile thing, but there's still a lot of guys down there giving out that block work though.
Now, when you came in the league, 2005.
Yep.
Like we just talked about Ennis and LeBron, they're going back and forth. 2005, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, but social media wise, it was nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't there yet.
Well, what is your take on so essentially like this is new for you, it's new for all of us. You're playing in the NBA. You got guys talking crap on social media, Twitter and all that stuff. Like, is it changed like just the mentality of being a pro, the scrutiny, like, everywhere you go, there's cameras, literally. Yeah. It's not just like because of the NBA, like literally there's cameras everywhere. Like, what is your whole take on it at being a pro athlete in this day and age of this social media era? As with the crap talking and just like you got to really mind your P's and Q's. You can't pick your nose, let alone break the law because it'll all be on camera.
It's got its good and its bad points. You know what I'm saying? One, I think the best part of it being able to interact with fans and kind of give them an inside take on who you are, like the person you are, you know, after you take the jersey off and all that type of stuff. Some of your interests, just who you are as a person. But once it come to people doing like thumb thugging and all that, like I ain't really with all that. You know what I'm saying? If you can type it with your thumbs, you can say it with your mouth when you see the person.
Right. Don't ask me for a selfie now.
Like I don't really. I'm talking about with players too. I see players thumb thug each other, and then when you see the person, you dapping them before the game and all that. I'm like, all that was for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not turn it into a reality show or whatever. Like, all right. Competitively, we don't rock. I'm just not saying you got a personal issue. Competitively, like, I ain't rocking with dude when I'm on the court. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool to say. I don't mind none of that. But, you know, trash talking back and forth over Twitter, it's just entertaining for the media. It's just a storyline and narrative that they can kind of push or whatever the case may be. I'd rather you just show that competitiveness when you step in between the lines. And I think everybody going to respect it at the end of the day. That's what I think.
All right, so one of the things I heard about you with when you're not playing ball, sneaker collection that's close to $350,000 worth of collectible sneakers.
I'm not into numbers. I'm not going to.
Okay, this is reported. It's reported. So break. First of all, this is a question. Like the sneakers, do you pay for them? Do you get them? Forget the price. Like, how many pairs of sneakers do you have?
I got a lot. I think when you lose track, I think that's when you know you got a little bit of an issue.
Okay, so you keep them here in New York, like you have like you're based in Atlanta.
I got a stash here in New York that I brought up here to keep me good, but I got the bulk of it is in Atlanta.
And what would you say if, God forbid, there's a flood?
Okay.
We don't want these your 5 sneakers. What would be the 5 that Jarrett Jack takes out of either the New York house, the Atlanta crib, wherever it is, like your 5 most prized possession sneakers?
First,
in any particular order.
First off the rip is the patent leather 11s, the white and black Jordans, the Concords.
Okay.
Those is like the realest.
Why?
I just remember when they came out. I remember as a kid, you know, it sucks to say, but I remember like it was a lot of people lost their lives over them shoes.
Right.
And a lot of people was willing to give up their lives from shoes, meaning I'm going to commit this crime that might could get me 10 to 15 to life in order to put these shoes on because they are that dope.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're a shoe that I think is a changing of the guard in so many ways. Like when Jordan and them were describing, he wanted a shoe that I could wear on the court, but I could also wear it in a formal setting.
Right.
Like, what? Who's thinking about that? You know what I'm saying? And then for it to come out and be 10 times what anybody thought. And patent leather on shoes, nobody was thinking about that.
Right.
Like, clear gums, clear bottom. Like, it was just so much stuff that you see now that, you know, just came from that shoe. And it's like, it's just that shoe was it was an amazing silhouette, man.
Number 2. I love this.
It's so difficult, man.
Yo, listen, the flood's coming, Jack. What do you want from me? I'm telling you the flood's coming. You got 5 pairs of sneakers to take out of here. We don't have time for all this. Okay, the water's coming. It's gonna mess up the kicks.
I'm gonna say the original foam posits.
What are those?
The all blue joints. I remember I was watching the national championship and Mike Bibby was playing the national championship, and this when he was a freshman. And he playing the national championship, and I'm always looking at everybody's shoes.
And you're in high school at the time?
Yep. The whole time, I'm like, yo, what does Mike Bibby have on his feet? Period. I'm calling all my friends. Like, yo, do you see Mike Bibby's sneakers? He got on something, bro, I've never seen, but they look crazy. Next day at school, we still don't know what they are. Like, we having lunch table discussions. Then finally, when Slam Magazine came out with that Kicks magazine.
Right.
And they showed them foam pots. I was like, yo, that's them blue shoes. And nobody knew that they were pennies. And then you know, that kind of started a whole thing, you know, especially in my region, because I'm from DC, and like we kind of took that on as like our shoe of where we from, kind of adopted that, so to speak. You had Wale with the, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, Wale has referenced foam posits many times in his rhymes. So, you know, probably that one.
I'll do one more. What's your third? Now, this is it. Listen, I'm telling you, the floods are coming. It's your choice. You have hundreds, thousands. How many? Hundreds or thousands?
Oh, no, I got thousands.
Thousands of pairs of sneakers?
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, before you make this pick, 'cause I'm going to let you think about this. You have thousands of pairs of sneakers. So some you've paid for, some you got. You wear Nike. You're a Nike, Nike NBA player. Have you worn Nike your whole career?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have an in with Nike. The floods are coming. You got the Jordans, you got the foams. You get one more damn pair. I'm not saying the rest are going to go away, but potentially. We have other stuff we have to get out of the house, Jack. What the hell is the third and final pair that we're going to take out when the floods may or may not come, but you never know. It's tough. You're leaving like babies behind, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to make you do it. I feel like this question made you uncomfortable. This question I feel like is not something you want to answer because you feel like you're leaving behind puppies, essentially.
Yeah, it's almost like
the puppies are burning. You get to bring out one more.
It's almost like pick your favorite kid, but you got 10 kids and you only can take 3.
You got 1,000.
Yeah, it's
like
tough.
You're like fucking Antonio Cromartie, like gone wild, and he's been on the podcast.
Oh my god,
that's my guy. So you get one more pair of sneakers, Jack.
I just recently came up on them a bunch of those off-white joints. The ones that Virgil did. And my personal favorite out of all of them were the off-white ones. I thought how he took apart such a classic silhouette, but he didn't hype beast it out too much. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do it too crazy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So respect to him for, handling such a classic masterpiece and doing what I thought he did it justice.
So the sneaker culture, like you guys grew up loving it. I think it's so dope that like you mentioned like the bibbies, and then like when you're actually out there playing in them in the NBA, I think it's bugged out. So I want your take on the big Bowler brand sneakers, just the sneakers.
I bought a pair.
Did you get them yet?
Well, I bought them and I put the address for them to come to Atlanta, so maybe they might be at my crib, maybe not, but I definitely bought a pair. I don't know if I bought a pair of the first ones or if they remixed them. I don't know, but I bought a pair for the fact of, it was an innovative idea. Is it effective? We won't know until we see, if the brand fully takes hold. I mean, if he had a multi-million-dollar or multiple multi-million-dollar deals on the table and this brand doesn't or isn't able to reach that, financially it didn't, but you might just say, I don't care about that. I wanted my own shoe. They made a family type situation.
Right.
Which, you gotta respect that. You know what I mean? They took away into this sneaker world or into the business that no NBA athlete has ever tried, and for the fact of trying it, you know what I mean?
Right.
You gotta give respect to them for that.
So as far as the Lonzo Ball phenomenon, now Patrick Beverley, in my opinion, did what I don't know why this hasn't happened more. Patrick Beverley did exactly what I think a veteran is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like, yo, there's no fight shit. This is the NBA. There's none of that's happening. You have to do kung fu, but like, yo, you are playing in the NBA, whether your father was doing it, your cousin was doing it, and just any rookie. Like, yo, rookie, you playing him like, yo, let's see what you got, my man. What do you got?
Period. You gotta love Pat Bev for that, though.
Love him.
Pat Bev is one of those.
I got a fucking Patrick Beverley jersey since that.
He's one of them dudes that you just gotta respect. Regardless of the situation, he gonna be the same. He don't have no picks. He gonna do that to a rookie. He also gonna do that to an all-star. You know what I'm saying? And regardless if you say he dirty or whatever the case may be, I respect the fact that he the same every day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. He saw a rookie, he set the tone with him early. I think he more so set the tone with, I'm letting you know what's up when you see me. I don't necessarily know what's up with the league, but every time you see me, know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Period.
So what is your take on it as a fan and as a participant of the NBA?
My take on what exactly?
On the Lonzo Ball overhyping. Because for me, when I look at him, the thing that I see is somebody who's not having fun.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Did the basketball world overhype him, or was it his pops?
It's both. His father said he's better than Steph Curry now.
Yeah, his pop also said he could beat Michael Jordan one-on-one.
Right.
So, you got to take it with a grain of salt. It's the man's kid. It is what it is. I'm talking about basketball aficionados, people that watch the game. You know what I'm saying? I think, he had a tremendous freshman year in college.
Right.
But I didn't, Well, Magic did say some things.
He did something, but I don't think he would have said those things had the father not been sort of like, it was just like.
But my thing is, why are we listening to him?
The pops.
Yeah, like
I agree.
All because he said it, that don't make it the gospel. It ain't law. Like, and he talking about his flesh and blood, his firstborn son. Like, I get it. I had dudes say that when we was in 6th grade. You know what I'm saying? My son is boom, boom, boom. Like, that wasn't a foreign thing for me to hear a dad say about his kid. You know what I mean? Now, it was different because the people he was challenging were 2-time MVPs, future Hall of Famers, and things of that. And that made it more outlandish. You know, he put more of the hoopla on his son rather than, you know, I didn't, and no disrespect to the young fella, you know what I'm saying? He got hopefully a long future in this league, and he can be whatever he's gonna be. But I didn't see a whole bunch of people, like especially your peers, saying it's tough to come into this league and at the ground running be one of them dudes. Like usually it's a bit of a learning curve that happens, and then a year or two or 50 games or 60 games in, you start to understand the dynamic of this thing and understand how you can be effective. You know what I'm saying? But the way they set it on the table, like I didn't think he was gonna come in and 25 and 14 the first game. Like it's gonna be a learning process, bro. Like it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? And who's to say a year from now he learned from this little struggle portion and he could come back and be one of those top tier guards in the league. And who, you know what I mean? Like what Steph said. Steph said, I hope nobody was judging me off my first 25 games in the league, because you wouldn't have had much to talk about with me either. You know, you gotta give him some time and see where, you know, how he can navigate leading the team, and then, you know, work on his game and, you know, try to do the best he can.
That's good. That's fair. I feel like you guys have been the most compassionate. You know what I mean? Like Steph saying that, and just like I feel like guys have been understanding, like, and you know, because he seems like he's a good kid. He seems chill. You know, like the thing for me is like he looks like he's just miserable playing. Like it looks like there's no fun. Like he just wants to be like, I don't want all this shit.
I mean, he gotta understand what he signed up for. One, you're playing for, you know, probably the most storied franchise in the league. That's number one. Y'all on national TV regardless if you're winning or losing. And, you know, as of right now, he's not playing at his best. I don't believe so. You know, and I'm sure he's playing, and he's also playing in his hometown.
Right.
That's another huge thing. Like, not only is, you know, he's struggling, but every time he goes outside, I'm sure he got friends and family to deal with, people that he know, people that probably ain't like him when he was in high school. They probably want something. You know what I mean? People who just probably hated on their whole family thing they got going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of getting it from all angles, so to speak. So, you know, I'm sure he kind of wants stuff to die down and kind of just allow himself to play. And hopefully he does do that, man. I want to see everybody in this thing do well.
Right.
I want you to see compete and see where your game is at. You know what I'm saying? I don't want somebody mentally to be like, man, he could play, but you let this other stuff creep in.
Right.
Not allow you to kind of come in here and do your thing.
All right, so your rookie year, you had a great career at Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man Kenny Anderson.
Word. He was at the game yesterday.
Was he?
Yeah. KA.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I played one-on-one versus Kenny Anderson when I was 12 and he was 11.
How'd that go?
It didn't go good. Because he played me using his right hand. Come to find out he was lefty. And I was nice, Jack, at 12. Like, that was like, my prime was like 12 through 15. And then, like, motherfuckers got tall. But, like, he literally, and he'll tell you, we grew up playing with him, watching him. Like, he was NBA ready at 15.
Yeah.
He just came out. Like, he had that handle. So it didn't go good. So your rookie year, you bust your ass in high school. You have a great college career. You get to the NBA.
Yeah.
When I say what's the first memory moment of you playing in the NBA that you remember, like you were like, holy shit, like I'm out here?
Yeah. My first preseason game, I played against Ray Allen. You know what I mean? And this is not too far removed from he got game, you know what I'm saying? So I'm still calling him Jesus Shuttlesworth for real. And then my first real game, I played against Kevin Garnett.
So what do you remember about those two guys? Garnett, like he never stops talking.
Exactly.
So what do you remember about like your first impression of Kevin Garnett? And now he's Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
Like he's KG. He's the big ticket. Like he's in his zone.
In that first game, man, he taught me what it was. And not directly, but indirectly. He taught me what like you having to stand on your 2 feet as far as the NBA is concerned is all about. Because if he say some wild stuff to people.
Well, what is he saying? He never stops talking. He's talking to himself.
I mean, you name it, he's saying it.
He's talking greasy.
And however you want him to say it, he gonna say it. You know what I'm saying?
He's not PG-13 with it.
And I've seen people act like they don't hear what he's saying. You know he's talking directly to you, and you just gonna keep looking over there like you know that man ain't talking to you. You know what I'm saying? Or are you gonna acknowledge it and deal with it? You know what I'm saying? And the way you acknowledge it and deal with it can be a number of ways.
Right.
You don't gotta get into a war of words. You know what I'm saying? That could fire you up and get you in a certain focus for you just to be locked in. You know what I mean? And to be honest, that's why KG said he always did that. He said me talking trash to the other dudes always kept me on point.
Kept him on point.
Because if I'm talking trash, I know this dude is probably about to come at me. So now I got to be ready for it. You know what I'm saying? It kept me engaged in the game. You know what I'm saying? And then also, if this dude, I can also get this dude off his square probably. If he's so worried about me now, he's trying too hard. If he's a dude that only gets the ball or shoots 3 shots a game, now he trying to shoot 9. I got him off his square. I got their whole offense is all messed up. You know what I mean? Now he worried. He playing a game with me instead of playing the actual game. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's why I watched. And I'm like, look, man, they're going to test you when you come in here.
Right.
Maybe with the way they're going at you, maybe with words. And you got to be ready to withstand that and you know, create an identity for yourself that, nah, go ahead and send that somewhere.
Who in the league today, now we're in 2017, would you say is that sort of personality? Like,
That's Draymond for sure.
Draymond.
My other rookie.
He was your rookie in Golden State.
Yep.
So he's yapping the whole time.
I mean, when I first met Draymond, I didn't know him prior to him being on the team, but you know, I told him, I said, yo, like, you was a maniac in college. Don't come here or don't get in this league and not be a maniac. You know what I mean? That's what got you here. You know what I mean? You undersized. Probably ain't the most athletic, but you know, I think he's a better athlete than people give him credit. But you got in here by being a dog. You know what I'm saying? Period. You still that dog off the leash. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing that I don't subscribe to is a lot of people, like if you're young, a lot of people think you're supposed to be quiet. You ain't supposed to say nothing. Like, my philosophy is the truth don't have no bearings where it come from. The truth don't care what the source is. If you saying something, you feel like something's necessary and it needs to be said, and it could be helpful for the group, man, don't hold your tongue. I don't understand that philosophy. You know what I'm saying? And from then on, he hadn't shut up since. So maybe it's my fault.
So
what are you doing?
He was just going like,
yeah, man, because that's part of his game. You know how some dudes got a crazy handle and this, that, and the third. His disposition or his demeanor is probably the biggest component to his game.
Right.
That probably what makes him who he is. You know what I'm saying? If you told him, play the game, but you can't talk, or you can only talk a certain way, he probably would be horrible.
He needs that. He needs that to get hyped.
He put the own gas in his car.
Who were you most impressed with? You played against AI, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Chris. Yeah. I mean, some of these guys are still in the league, and I got from talking to athletes that we don't give credit to dudes in the league.
Yeah,
we not do. So just like in terms of Steve Nash, he's gone. Jason Kidd's a fucking coach. Allen Iverson retired. Chauncey Billups, you know, is done. My man White Chocolate, Mike Bibby, who you mentioned.
Yeah.
You're watching him in college. You're fucking with his sneakers. He's towards the tail end of his career. But like, who was the guy like you remember? You were like, yo, this is bugged out. I'm in the NBA.
Nah, it was all of it, and you know, I mean, I try not to name the ones that be like, yo, when I played against Kobe, it was crazy. Like, of course, we all know that. But the person who is one of the all-time greats, who I think flies under the radar with a lot of people, and I told my brother, like, when I got home, like, after my rookie year, I was like, yo, you want to know who really good, bro? I'm like, really, really good? Like, real good. He was like, who? I was like, yo, Tim Duncan, the truth. The absolute truth. And for a dude who, you know, we recognize him as the best in his position, possibly top 10 all time, winning percentage through the roof, 5 chips. Like, they don't talk about him like for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because his demeanor, he goes about it quiet, and he has a kind of a laid back kind of disposition. But we was playing against dude, and I was like, it ain't nothing we could do in here, champ. He makes the proper play every time. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had a demeanor about him like, yo, if you riding with me, you playing a certain way, you playing hard all night. I'm not here for none of the BS stuff. I mean, I call it like the NBA stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not here for the cool dudes that want to run up and down and look cool in their uniform. This is how we play. Either you getting with it or you getting out of here. You know what I'm saying? You pass the ball to me. You know what time it is. It's a basket. And if I'm double teamed, bro, I'm willing to use my teammate. And dude was phenomenal, man.
And he's just basic, right? There's not even any salt and pepper on the game, right?
I mean, some people say simplicity is bliss.
What about what made Steve Nash so good when he was at his best?
He could just control the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, Steve Nash could be 4 points, 19 assists. Like, but he making everything move. I'm doing this. You gonna go here. I'm gonna beam this right by your head, layup. I'm looking here. I'm throwing this behind the back pass between both of y'all because y'all not looking at what I'm looking at. And him being ambidextrous and being able to pass with both hands. I think that's a underappreciated skill that people don't understand how hard it is to put those precision passes on point when you going at these speeds, certain directions, and then lead the league in 3-point percentage. Man, he in that pick and roll, man, dude was a problem. And then having Mike D'Antoni's system to go with it. I mean,
it was with Mike and it was Steve Nash and Stoudemire, right?
Yeah, Stoudemire. I mean, he turned everybody into an all-star. Stoudemire, Sean Marion.
He literally was one of those guys where you could say makes people around him better.
Quentin Richardson, I think, led the league in threes that year.
Right.
Boris Diaw was a dude over there. He turned Rajah Bell into, we knew Rajah Bell just for defense.
Right.
Rajah Bell became a knockdown 3-point shooter over there. You had Barbosa, 6th man of the year. Like, they
got busy.
Man, they was a problem, man.
What when you were growing up, who were your guys you loved the most to watch?
Well, growing up, like everybody loved Jordan. And I was one of them dudes like, man, everybody like him. Like, I'm gonna go against the grain and like somebody else. So my thing was, I was a big Penny Hardaway guy. You know what I mean? Bigger point guard, had some swag and flair to his game, had the fly sneakers, dope commercials. You know what I mean? Like, he just encompassed like the new school and that new generation. And that was the person I wanted to be like. And then probably in high school, Stephon Marbury was somebody I caught wind of. He was one of the big influences why I wanted to go to Georgia Tech. Wore the same numbers, and when I got there, I wanted his locker. I just thought talent-wise, man, he was one of them dudes that you can name all them top point guards you want to, but when Homeboy came around, 48 minutes, you was like, man, let me get a lot of rest, because Homeboy coming in here, he not playing.
Do you think like the way his career ended in the NBA will screw up his legacy? Because he had such a crazy career, he was so like a high school legend. Georgia Tech did his thing, NBA did his thing, but like there was the Garnett shit, then there was the Knicks tenure, it was in Phoenix. Like, I feel like it's kind of a shame because we grew up watching Steph.
Yeah, and it sucks the way it ended. You know what I'm saying? It's two people that I hate the way their career ended. Steph and AI.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, AI was supposed to have a fairy tale, that legend tour. Everybody showed their utmost respect for him and what he did for the game and how he transcended the game. And Steph was another one of those guys, when you look at him, you like, man, Hall of Fame numbers,
right?
Career-wise. He struggled in a lot of situations as far as overall winning, and then had some moments, that played out in the media that weren't so great, that kind of, took a hit on him. But,
right.
I would have loved to see it kind of finish, somewhat of how the way it started.
He wants to come back.
Right.
I mean, it ain't easy, right?
I don't know if those doors are still open, but
Because the NBA it's a tough business. Like when they shut the doors, like one of the thing, like, you know, I'm not gonna name names, but like dudes, when I was at the big three, like, you know, there's dudes that are on the, you know, they're like, yo, you should be playing. And they're like, yo, when the door gets shut, you know, we don't.
The thing you don't understand is you trying to get through a door that you don't have the keys to.
They're not giving you the keys.
Somebody else got to open it for you.
They got to open it and then let you stay.
Yeah, like somebody got to be like, I want you to come through this door. You can think you ready all you want to. You can think a whole bunch of things. But if they don't open the door and allow you to be in it, man, you're going to be on the outside looking in like somebody standing outside the club.
All right, I want to ask you about the Warriors. You were with DeMarc Jackson, Steph, Clay, Draymond was your rookie. Did you ever imagine, number one, I mean, they were starting to emerge then, but did you ever imagine that team and that sort of style of basketball and the iconic nature of that team would happen? Like, what do you remember about like playing for that Warriors team while you were there?
When I got over there, I called my agent. I said, yo, this is the most talent I've ever played with in my life. And he was like, really? Because at that point, you know, I think it was Clay's second year. Steph had been struggling with the ankle injuries. We had D. Lee, who was an all-star, but, you know, as far as winning, he had struggled a little bit. And I said, look, man, I'm going to tell you like this. Top to bottom, most talent I ever played with. We had just drafted Harrison Barnes. He was already nice. And my agent was like, come on, man, y'all in the West. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, whatever. I said, look, I'm telling you. And then playing a couple games, man, I remember Coach Jackson looking at me. He said, yo, they're the best shooting backcourt of all time.
Those two, Steph and Clay.
We not even like into the season yet. But I used to watch them every day, so I knew what type of ratchets they had. And for people that's not in the know, a ratchet is a lethal jump shot. And I started thinking, and I was like, damn, man, you right. You right. And then he said it publicly, and a lot of people looked at him like he was crazy until they kind of manifested it on the court and showed him to be right. And, you know, he didn't sound so crazy after all.
So it was apparent that like the shooting and just the skill, and because the thing that I'm most impressed with about that team was that they never needed to learn to be unselfish.
Nah, like I said, that goes again, man, to being lucky. You know, I think that was Bob Myers' first or second year as the GM, and I don't think he knew by blending that particular personnel together that it was going to breed what people know as what Golden State basketball is today, being unselfish, a 1 through 15 type of team. But it did. You know, we were a group that played for one another. We were excited to watch each other excel, and we fought for each other each and every game, man. And it was crazy because we would be playing against dudes, and they'd be like, "Yo, I can't wait to watch y'all. I love watching y'all." Like
other opponents would say that.
Like it was almost like we was like a TV show. It's like, man, I can't wait for y'all to come on. I love watching y'all play. Like dudes telling me this, and I'm like, word. And they're like, yo, all we do is talk about y'all. And like we were that emerging, fun group, you know what I'm saying, to watch. And it was like, and that was crazy because nobody expected nothing from us. Like beginning of the season, coach said, you want to know how much chance they gave us, the writers or the quote unquote professionals, what chance they gave us to be in the playoffs? And we was like 5, 10, whatever. He was like 0.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? And then for us to go to the playoffs, win the first round, then go to the second round. You know what I mean? Like that was extra motivation for all of us, extra incentive for all of us.
What is your best? Because everybody seems to have one. You played against Kobe when he was in his element.
Yep.
When you're an old man, because by the way, you're 34, you look like you're 22. So when you're 80, your grandkid, you're gonna be 80 and look like you're like 46.
I hope so.
So when you're 80, your grandkids say, Dad, Granddad, you played against Kobe Bryant. What was that like?
It was terrible. He scored 65 on us one time.
And what is that like when you see somebody like that in the groove? I mean, you get in the groove. You know, all you guys, NBA dudes, you've all done that. But like Kobe's he's a freak.
Yeah, it was crazy because like you so caught up in the game, you know dude is getting buckets. But then you look up and you like, yo, he got 60, and it's still like 4 minutes to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, you so caught up in, I know he hitting buckets, I know he getting to the line or whatever the case may be, but then you pick up the box score after the game, you be like, damn, dude has 65 and he shot like 52% from the field. You be like, yo, that's trippy, bro. Like, that's crazy.
Was he a talker?
Depends. If somebody was messing with him. But he'd talk stuff as far as like calling shots. You know what I mean? Like, he'll shoot it, he'd be like, good, bucket. You know what I'm saying? Like, something subtle like that. Like, he wasn't like an over, like, you know what I mean? But if somebody started messing with him though, oh yeah.
And you don't want to mess with him because if he doesn't need that. You don't need that.
You know what, man? I ain't really with all that, man.
You're chill, right?
No, my thing is,
are you a talker?
If somebody say something to me,
but you're not like a Draymond, like you're not like a
Nah, I don't really do all that.
You don't start the.
I got a team to run. I don't got time to be doing. I got a squad to run. I got other things on my priority list that I'm putting into getting into a war or word with somebody. You know what I'm saying? But you know, my thing is, man, if you a dude that talk, you can't have no picks. So if you talking trash to everybody, you can't get there that day and be like, oh, I ain't talking trash to Kobe. Nah, bro. Like, if you was my teammate and you was a trash talker for 81 games and you ain't talk trash to him, I'd be like, nah, bro, I don't like that. Talk trash to him too.
Go at him.
If that's who you are, you know what I'm saying? Be that. You can't have no picks in it, bro.
Who besides Draymond, who are some of the other yappers in the league? I interviewed Andre Drummond. He surprised me. He said he talks a lot of shit. I said, I barely could get a word out of you, like an interview, like he's so low-key.
I ain't really heard too much from him.
So is it the last of a dying breed? Is it going out of style? Is Draymond the last man standing for the shit talkers?
I mean, you got Embiid that be wilding sometimes.
He talks shit?
Man. I mean, I haven't played against him yet, but I can see, you know, in games that he's pretty vocal.
You could just tell.
Yeah. I can see that he got a little bit to say to people. Who else is a talker, man? It ain't too many though.
Ain't too many.
Nah, it ain't too many that be
all right.
That be saying too much. Everybody kind of just do their thing. They go about their business. It ain't too much chirping that be going. If it does, it just happens.
Right.
It's not like, yo, this is my calling card, and every game I'm coming into, I'm chirping with somebody. You know what I'm saying?
All right, listen, Jarrett Jack, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Oh, man, ain't no thing.
I'm so happy.
Big fan of yours, bro, even before this.
Shit, man. Listen, I'm so happy you're back in the league. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations on getting, being one of the important pieces to get the Knicks back to respect and hopefully the playoffs. And honestly, as frustrating as it's been for me, like, and you know I'm on a sabbatical, right? You know I've taken a year until Oakley can come back in the Garden. I've personally taken a sabbatical, but
I see big fella in Atlanta all the time. You know, Oak be in Atlanta, so I see big fella all the time. Man.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I had to do it. But I'm happy and excited for the Knicks, and I'm happy and excited you're back in the league, healthy, doing your thing. Your mustache game has always been on point. Here's my final question. Who has a better hairline?
Oh, shit.
Enes Kanter or Paul George? Because the thing that I noticed about Enes playing for the Knicks is that shit is incredible. Like, I wish I had a fucking hairline like that. Like, that's like an anti-balding hairline. And Paul George's shit, it's like their foreheads are both like but I'd rather have the miniature forehead and know that I'm locked and loaded for life. God. So, gun to your head, you got to answer. This is the hard question. I know it's your teammate.
You know what? Paul George is my guy. You know what I'm saying? One of the closer homies I got in the league.
Okay.
But I got to go with my teammate. I can't upset my big fella, man.
Okay, so
I'm going with Enes.
I mean, have you noticed that fucking thing is beautiful?
Oh, my God.
It's the Iron Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Jarrett Jack, running point for the Knicks, and for this episode. Thank you, my man.
No doubt. Appreciate you.
All right, I want to thank my guest, the point guard, Jarrett Jack, New York Knicks point guard, for joining me on a very insightful, very respectful, very thoughtful, very candid episode of the Iron Rapaport Stereo Podcast. As I told you, on the next episode, me and G Moody will be breaking down the Sportsman of the Year. Speaking of Sportsman of the Year, congratulations again to Darryl Strawberry I'll make it into the Stickman Hall of Fame. Also on the next I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast, we will be giving out the Sick Fuck of the Year Award. That's right, the Sick Fuck of the Year Award. Again, I want to thank my man Jarrett Jack for joining me on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. I told you from the beginning, when I do it rough, rugged, and raw dog without a bag. It's the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. Miles, take me out of here with some funk.